Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Chef's Meal, where we talk about whatever and never and everything else in between. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rush Hour in the building. Welcome to the Chef's Meal. My name is Casey.
Yeah, I'm Sean, and we're just two chefs going on about our lives, one finished plate at a time.
Now we talk about whatever and ever and everything else in between. Now, Sean, here's a funny for you. Okay, I woke up
Alrighty.
maybe an hour ago, or maybe a little earlier than that.
Oh, wow.
Nani?
And you know what my thought
Rise
is?
and
My
shine.
first thought into my damn head. Are you ready for this?
なぜ
Okay.
ですか?
Yeah, give it to me.
I said thought. Sean, do you know when you know you're getting old?
Wow.
Oh, boy. Yeah. There's a lot of different milestones that will not so subtly remind you that you are getting older.
Do you know what that one is for me though?
Nah, talk to me about it, brother.
Okay, you ready for this? I need a new nose hair clipper. That was my first thought this morning. As soon as I woke up, Sean, I was like, you know what? Damn, I need a new nose hair clipper. Like, it's the other one that I have is busted. And my nose hairs are more important than anything else when I woke up this morning.
So let me ask you, are you sure it's a nose hair clipper that you need or a better like mustache trimmer? Because like you pick up top. So so your mustache and your nose hairs could just be
That is true.
fingers like
That is definitely true. And did you know on my right side, there's two hairs that specifically go up from my mustache. It goes up.
just right in there.
Just right in it. So that might actually be the whole situation altogether. But I don't know. But that was my first thought this morning, Sean. I was like, damn, I need a new nose hair clipper. And I just felt so old. I said that to Caitlin. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, babe. Like, you know, my other one over there, like it's gone. It's broke. It's no good anymore. So I don't know what to tell you. Yeah.
Oh man, I was trying to think of some of my general I'm getting older moments. I mean, definitely can't run up and down the basketball court like I used to. Like for sure. It's like I know before I used to be able to run all day. All I would need is like a gallon of water and $1.50 worth of snacks.
Hey.
And I could play basketball all day. And now it's just like I got two. I got two. Two full court games, two half court games, 4 minutes. Just do the math. That's all I've got.
Now, my present from said Amazon box came yesterday via Caitlin, and guess what came in the box, Sean?
Nose hair trimmer?
Some socks.
Some socks.
Some socks. I fucking love socks, Sean. Socks and underwear. Those are my two favorite things. I know that's like an old person thing, but I've always loved it ever since I was like 18. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because because I didn't have too many of them. You know, I always recycled like 3 or 4 pairs. And ever since I've got a little bit of money, I've always bought extra socks, extra underwear. And it is my most joyful moment every time I get some new pairs. It's like that new car smell. I get so into it. I'm like, oh, fuck this fucking sock, yo. It sounds so good.
I can't front. Like as you get older, you definitely appreciate that stuff a lot more. I mean, I think it's just because when you get older, you're home more, and when you're home more, you just want to be cozy, and nothing is better than fresh,
man,
out the pack socks.
And like the moisture wicking fucking underwear. Oh man, I'm getting all excited. I'm like ecstatic right now. Now I pulled it up on the wiki just so you understand. Did you know that the first socks were produced in the 1800s? Not crazy?
What are they doing? So they were just going foot bare shoe up until then?
I mean, yeah. It's okay to just wear regular socks. What the fuck are these?
See,
That's some like Ninja Turtle shit.
Those are pretty cool. Like they look like there's sneakers that look like that too, that
Yeah, yeah.
have the your foot kind of separated into the toes and
Mm-hmm.
what is that? What? Split toes for sandals. So they wow. And now
Yeah.
socks and sandals are like faux pas.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to the Egyptians, man.
Yeah, man. Wow.
Shout out to the Egyptians. That is
But the knitting
crazy.
machine is what it started. The knitting machine was invented in 1589. I'm sorry to like divulge into the whole thing. I know it's like early in
Yeah,
the
I'm
morning. We're
looking
going
at this
right into it.
this wiki, and then, yeah, they're just like, yeah, the Egyptians were rocking socks like way before the
Way
1800s,
before.
like that way before.
Way
Split
before.
toes for the sandals. All right.
That's what I wanted to start off today, Sean.
Do you
Just
have do you have a favorite pair of socks right now?
okay. So, I'm excited that you asked me what my favorite pairs of socks are.
Okay.
Specifically though, the Nike, um, the Nike sweat proof one with the grip underneath. You know what I'm talking about?
Okay. So from the dry fit
The dry fit
sock.
ones, but not the 3/4 one. The full sock. I hate it's. I mean, you can attest to this. It's our generation before they came out with the whole, um, like 3/4, so it doesn't show. I like the full sock so I can pull it up during the winter, and then if I needed it, I would just roll it down,
Roll it back down. Yeah, I'm
and it'll
definitely
become a
the
thing for the summer. And I love that. Hold on, what? Matter of
ankle
fact, let
socks for
me
most of the year.
Nike ankle socks. Let me see if they have it. Ankle socks. Did you mean 9 ankle sock? It's okay. It's okay, Wiki. You're
Just
not
like, nah,
awake
man, you
yet.
too specific for Wikipedia this morning. You better take that to Google.
No, Sean, our week is a little not entrenched. It seems faster than normal. Like I mentioned before, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. It is now late October. Like we literally
Yeah,
have
we're
just about 8 days.
closing in on a month.
Closing into the month. This is the last quarter for us into the restaurant business. Do you want to share something funny or something that happened at work? Your favorite meal?
Oh
How's
wow,
that?
can we I was gonna say there's a lot we talk about at work. Part that we can't talk about,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
unfortunately. Fortunately. Um, Favorite meal this week. We had some nice haddock yesterday. that was that was tasty and on time. I took it up a little bit with my barbecue jerk sauce that I've been stashing in the kitchen. Just but wow, yeah, a lot to talk about this
Yeah.
weekend at work. Oh man, you gotta pour some out for for some homies.
Heard. For let's
Some
let's
definite.
uh let's take a 2 second is where a 2 second soundbite comes out. Just a little something something. Just
Look, look, look,
one
look,
out
look,
one
look,
out to the
look, look, look,
homies.
look, look, look.
All right. We appreciate everything else. But anything though, like I want to share with you something that happened with Vlad and I. So Vlad is our other worker in the
Okay.
morning. He's usually there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday, right? And on this morning, yesterday morning, we're going about, and you know how his arm is kind of still messed up a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been, seeking treatment, but he's on the
Hmm.
mend.
So something about his arm where it's not like carpal tunnel, but my hand does it too. Like if I overuse it, like I can't close it.
Hmm.
Like it gets sore, and it's
Interesting.
hard to pick up stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
For some reason, I don't know why. It's just my right hand. His in the same thing. His right arm does the same kind of motion. Now we were both cleaning yesterday, and we were behind the grill, and when we were pulling the stuff out, I noticed his arm just went like this, kind of, you know. I'm like, Vlad, you okay? He's like, yeah, my wife just kind of hit me there last night and it went limp. I was like, what? Okay. We got to turn it on early in the morning. That's cool. And then a little later on, he was cooking something with his right arm. And he meant to do, how we do the pan flip?
Yeah, you kind of
we're all used to it.
roll
We're all
your wrist.
professional at
So
it.
you move the food. Yeah, move the food around so it doesn't stick. And yeah.
Okay. He was doing that to rice, and his arm decided to not function, and instead of flipping, it just went forward. The rice went splat into the saute unit, and he looked at it. I was like, I just fucking cleaned that. I couldn't stop laughing at him. I was like, Vlad, I'm sorry. That was just funny. He's like, no, I know, but man, what a time for it to not work. That one moment where I had a full pan of rice that he was trying to make for breakfast. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, man. Everyone's breaking down, man. Everybody.
Everyone is breaking down, man. Okay, so here's the thing. If you guys listening to the podcast, you guys need a job, come to my restaurant, please.
Please.
We need back of the house staff. We need front of the house staff.
Please.
We are in dire help. This is calling from two chefs. Please, we need some help.
Yes, please. Can't specifically mention the website here, but yeah, definitely. Twitter or email, and we can pass you along the information. AskChefSalty at Gmail.
There you go. Just send your applications there. You're hired, like right now. Okay. There's not even going to be a process.
Do you have arms? Can you recognize shapes and colors? If so, you might have a good chance working alongside us.
Just say behind when you're going past behind us, and you're fine. We will teach you everything else. Okay? If you know how to cook an egg, at least a little bit, we can work with that. We can work with that.
If you know how to recognize an egg, we can start with that. So literally, we could start with that.
Oh my goodness! There's just man. We are.
It's been a very interesting couple of weeks.
Yeah. It sucks. We still don't have Rosie. That's like the main thing. Our main guy isn't here.
Yeah,
I love that dude.
It does. We got some people out, on vacation. Some people, under other circumstances. Some people are, out on medical leave, and yeah, it's a pretty tough place to be at this time of year.
Yeah,
but I think we will make it through as we always make it through.
But if you guys need a job, hey, right here. Okay, calling it out right now. If you guys know how to serve food, hey, we'll teach you how to do it. Okay, how about some bartending skills? You guys know how to pour some lemonade into a glass? Hey, you're fucking hired.
Okay? Can you carry 1 plate, 2 or 3, please?
You get extra bonus tips if you know how to do the Spider-Man method with carrying 3 plates on your hand, or 4 plates if you're a professional like Jay is. Oh my god, have you seen him carry plates lately?
That dude is unflappable.
Yeah,
he's never been flapped.
He's it's like every Sunday I'm like, Jay, you can come back. It's like I don't want to come back. I want to just get to the table. So at one point he had a 5 top and he was just like, put 4 there and then put 2 in this arm, and I helped him. I'm like, damn, like can we get a runner for him, please? Can I get a second hand? Can we just get a follow? God.
He would, even if we had it, he wouldn't take it.
He's annoying because he's Asian. I would do the exact same thing. I'm just saying to all Asians, chill the fuck out.
He's like, I'm the mark of efficiency. I got it.
I understand. Okay, from a fellow Asian to another Asian, please let us help you. All right. However, if I was in that situation, I would do the exact same thing and I would ask for help and then I would just go about my way. There's something about pride. I don't know, Sean. I think it's our downfall. However, are you ready for Sean's Tech Tuesday?
Oh boy, am I.
Tech Tuesday. Hey. Oh, by the way, I found a way to finally get the soundbite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I
Let's
mean,
see.
we're gonna bootleg it since
Oh,
I have two screens. Yeah, it's
Oh,
not
okay.
right now.
Okay.
Since
All
we
right. I was
have
like,
two
oh,
screens.
got it already?
Yeah.
We were literally talking about this earlier today. I'm like, wow, Casey.
I'm gonna pull it up on the dual screen here, and I can actually play from the web player because we're cool, Sean. But anyway, Sean's Tech Tuesday.
Sean's Tech Tuesday.
Take us away.
All right, look. Tech Tuesday. So we're gonna go a little bit behind the scenes. But today, kind of talk about firmware and what that means to your devices. Okay. So when it comes to hardware, or rather, when it comes to products that you use, electronic products, the hardware, right? So hardware is the actual thing. Like, let's say using a computer. Well, the computer itself is the hardware. Like your laptop is the hardware. And then there is software. Software is generally the that are, I would say, like more human facing. Okay, so you think of your software like Windows or iTunes or Skype, that you buy the hardware to use, right? And then there's firmware. So firmware is the software that is designed to make the hardware work, or is designed to make hardware have some more function, make the hardware more secure. And to kind of go behind the scenes on how we produce this show, or at least from my end, I generally use a Mac. I'm using it right now. And last week, Apple released a new software and firmware for their computers. Now we're using Mac OS 10.15. And what that did is it offered some support for 64-bit computing across the range of its products, which is great for the future. And it's great for the most part for things now. Except how some of the software, right, that, some of the common software that people use. Now for changes, and then you upgrade all of your software to be ready for new firmware changes. So that stuff is great. If you're some of the smaller developers out there, or or you're not prioritizing Mac as you probably should, you might be lagging behind. So one of the pieces of software that we use is called Audacity. And Audacity we use to kind of have a secondary recording apparatus for our audio. And unfortunately, Audacity doesn't work.
On the newest upgrade. On the newest update of its firmware, it doesn't work with Sean's Mac OS currently.
Right. So I'm checking out the developer forums, and there are some workarounds, but they don't specifically work with the Macintosh that I used to record. So generally, my advice is, let's say you're using like a phone or a tablet, something that has high but specific functions. I'm generally would tell you to upgrade your firmware. Generally on those things, you don't want to have your data flowing in places in which you don't want it to.
Yeah.
So when it comes to your phone, I'm like, yeah, man, update your firmware, stay on top of it. When it comes to your video consoles, update your firmware because generally they're going to add new functions over time. Um, but when you definitely want to make sure that all of the software that you use regularly is going to be compatible with whatever newest firmware is available. That's my Tech Tuesday tip for this week is, do a little bit of homework before you upgrade your firmware on your devices. Like I said, more often than not, it's for the best, but every once in a while it breaks something in the pursuit of making things better. So I'm sure in our case, Audacity will probably have an update in the next, coming days or the next things back. I'd say definitely if you're listening to the audio version of this, and you happen to notice that my voice sounds a little bit different, isn't working the same way. We're kind of relying.
We're relying on internet connection, which Sean's shoddy as
Oh
well.
boy, oh Jesus, that too, man. So I don't know what's going on in my neighborhood right now, but over the last last 2 nights, like my internet connection is literally 100 times slower than it normally is, and I'm a pretty tech savvy. I could change on my end. I've been staying up to do, but there is a bit of a service outage for our area. So hopefully, the great folks at Optimum get on that.
Shout out to Optimum.
Papa, yeah, Papa needs a fast internet connection.
Papa needs internet. So the sponsor goes out to Dude, Optimum. If you need optimal cable needs for $59.99 or $59.95, you can get their gigabit center that doesn't really work necessarily. Dude, however, if you just pay $20 more, like I do, you can get the FiOS internet, and it's ridiculous. My internet's amazing. If things but then again, I'm in Jersey, so it's like a different.
Yeah.
There's no schools around. There's nothing like behind.
Yeah, so I live, in very close proximity to a high school, or rather an elementary school. I mean, my local connection is on the same node as both those institutions. So I noticed that during the day, nowhere near as slow as it is right now. So I think there's probably some like infrastructure issues that they're working out that'll probably be resolved hopefully soon. Because I turned on my PlayStation last night just to watch like some YouTube before I was going to go to sleep, and there was like a update downloading in the background for NBA 2K, and it was 18 gigs, which is up. But I at the time to complete, and it was like 10 hours. I was like,
yeah,
that's I was like, that should take 20 minutes, if even that. So I'm all right, let me dig into this, and sure enough, like I was able to confirm the issue is not necessarily in our house or with my networking setup, but with things aside. So
yeah,
Tech Tuesday brought to you by slow ass internet.
Optimum. If you guys are listening, hey, listen. I understand we're not big podcast yet. However, marker right here at 2510. You guys suck.
Oh no!
Okay, no. You guys suck. I hate you guys. Verizon all the way.
And I love you guys, and I love paying my bill on time, and I love when internet works as it's advertised to do. So
except for Sean. Sean loves you guys. I hate you guys.
Oh man,
Sean hates Verizon. He loves Optimum, so it's just like it's like whatever. It is what it is. My brother also runs on Optimum on his on his side over there, and he hates it. So I'm just saying,
Mm-hmm.
Sean,
Oh,
it's a numbers game.
oh man.
It's a numbers
Oh,
game.
bro. Big Valentine's Day card to the cable companies because these work.
All right, let's blow it up onto the other side now. Like I said, we are nearing Thanksgiving, and like I mentioned last week, it's gonna take just a snap of a finger, and it's gonna come at you. Now, this week is this is what we considered the Halloween spectacular. I'm gonna say that everybody kind of gets into the spirit. Everyone kind of gets into the trick or treat mood. Like if you go to any of the stores right now, like ShopRite or Costco, whatever, aisles and aisles of the candies are ready to be bought and consumed and at a discount. However,
Sure.
here's a little hack that my wife says. It's okay to buy the
Okay.
candy or buy enough so you can send it out to the kids. However, if you really wanna indulge on the candy, the November 1st sale of said candy becomes 80% off. All of those candies go on sale because they want to get rid of it off the shelves, all
Yeah.
of it. So if you
That's
really
because
don't
no one
have
eats
a
candy corn any other time than Halloween. That's it.
I never understood candy corn. Like what is the whole purpose of that? Like even in the
Okay.
Philippines we never, I
I
mean,
don't
granted
know.
we have weird candies too, but candy corn, that I don't know. That's a little weird to me.
I've never been a fan of it, and it's gonna sound blasphemous to some people, sure, but it could all go in the landfill. That's how I feel about
I
candy
really can.
corn. Um, people like it, and again, I don't necessarily have like the biggest candy sweet tooth, but pass me on that.
Yeah, I don't either. I'm not too crazy on the sweets anymore. When I was younger, I was more so, and I would eat the hell out of a Snicker bar. And since I'm allergic to chocolate, that doesn't bode well for my
Oh
skin
no.
complexion. And yeah, it's no bueno if I eat chocolate. It's I get
So is
topical.
it any chocolate or milk chocolate that
It's
does it for you?
it's anything below 60%. And I know that's a technical term. So in the
Okay.
restaurant, our dark chocolate is higher because of the melting point. The higher the chocolate percentage, the smoother it goes when you're melting it. And that's the whole purpose of it. Anything lower than 60%, meaning the optimal it should be for melting chocolate. I think for some reason my body doesn't just it fucks with it. It doesn't bode well, and I break out. I'll look like a teenager, and not on my face, on my body.
Oh
So I
boy.
get pimples everywhere,
Okay.
and almost like
Gotcha.
not hives and not shingles, but little bigger ones, and they're like painful to the touch. So that's my allergy. My
Mm.
brother also cannot consume chocolate. He goes into shock actually. So
Oh wow.
he
Did not
can't
know
have it.
that.
Yeah, it runs in the family. I blame my mother. Something she did when we were in her womb. She probably didn't eat chocolate. That's what it was. Or she ate like crappy chocolate.
She
For
did.
all the mothers out there, eat the higher
Oh
grade
man.
chocolate. Okay, just eat everything. Forget what everybody else tells you. And you know what? There's this whole thing. I don't know. I'm going on a rant here. There's this whole thing about eating raw fish or junk. Yo, let me tell you something. I'm Asian. All the mothers
Mhm.
in Asia eat raw fish, even when they're pregnant, and we still alive. And so much so that China, there's a billion of them, and they still eat raw
Mhm.
fish. So let's just
So let me ask you this. Do you think it's because there's a greater exposure and preparation of those foods? Because from what I understood here, it's just the possibility of like passing on like pathogens
mm,
and parasites through poorly produced raw fish would be the big issue, right? Like,
correct.
you don't want like some, expecting mom to get some gas station sushi.
Don't do that.
You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like,
Don't do that.
right, expose their kid to, whatever. But I would assume in like a situation or a culture where, again, like people are always eating raw fish. It's being produced cleaner and consumed cleaner, and everyone's exposed to it. You probably have less of an issue.
Correct. So
I
it's
don't
just
know.
it's a demographic thing, and also just the way, because primarily here in the states, the most common dish actually is chicken. Chicken's everywhere. You can get it fried, you can get it grilled, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's in a sandwich. It's in a bun. It's in a sushi, for fuck's sake. All right. So much so, in the same token, where fish is for us in Asia, that's prepared all in sort of way, and that's the most common protein that's on the shelves that you can consume, and prepared obviously to a different standard than most, because that's what we consume all the time. We are, a Pacific kind of country, and we rely on fish more predominantly than we would on livestock. So it's definitely a cultural thing, definitely a different perspective on stuff. Also, if you notice how, well, mostly Asians and blacks are lactose intolerant, because one, we don't really drink nor eat or consume that much of that stuff everywhere else. It's only here in the States, pretty much, or the what we call the Westerners. Um, and then also about the whole soy sauce thing, the gluten thing. Asians will not have gluten intolerances because we're always consistently consuming, and it's always in our system. And what's that word I'm trying to say, Sean? The your body kind of gets accustomed to it, so it doesn't. When you take away that food into your body will then get used to not consuming it, and then when you consume it, it will feel like your body is having adverse effects to said items. But like I mentioned, Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I keep mentioning this because Sean is gonna come quick, man, and all of a sudden, November 28th, Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
What are you making for Thanksgiving
It's
this year?
to be determined, actually.
Oh, to be
To be
determined.
determined. Yeah, because honestly, in my family, like we have like quite a few different I won't say family occasions, but wow, I will say the easiest way to say this. We wow, I am having a complete brain fart, people. So yeah, we've had like a few family get-togethers, and I guess the responsibilities for Thanksgiving haven't been delegated just yet. I don't know what my contribution will be
Got it.
so
Got it.
far, but even those, but again, we're coming up on it, so those plans will kind of be put out there probably the next week or two, and then everyone will be able to gather their resources and get it done. I mean, normally at this point, we kind of know at whose house we're all going to congregate at.
Mm.
There was a small chance it would have been here, but I don't think we're going to be set and ready to go for all of that for this year. So we'll probably be at my cousin's house again. And even what your responsibility level is because of how far you might have to travel to kind of get there.
True. Oh, that is true. Just so everyone's aware, I'll segue into the Zen Garden really quickly. If you go to our Anchor website right now or anywhere streaming, I updated the sort of pictures so Sean can see right now. Like I said, we are on video format. If you haven't already, a new kind of thumbnail, as they call it, Sean. Just rush hour on underneath it with Chef Salty Pork right below, because Sean and I are changing our should I say, our recorded conversations and stuff. So Tuesdays will be just myself and him talking about whatever. Also, Tech Tuesdays predominantly on that, and then on Thursday it'll be specifically about food. But it just depends on how busy we are at the restaurant. So that's how it's going to get gauged upon. So at least for today, we are mashing a little bit. So I want to leave him off. I'm going to give one tip in the kitchen, and then Sean, if you could give another tip also. So
Yeah, no problem.
here's the main thing that I always get asked. Okay, at least when we have a couple of patrons at the bar area that I'm kind of friends with, and they know me and everything. They always ask how I made that salmon or how I made that fish. Why did it come out like that? Why did it have such a sear, and that's a technical term, on the fish? How did you get the seasoning on it to stay so good. So 2 things. One, you need a really hot pan. And I don't think people understand what that really means, a hot pan. I wish I can pull it up. Maybe we can pull it up. Hold on, let me go to YouTube. Hot saute pan. Let's go
that
even
might.
more.
Let's see.
Cooking asparagus. Okay, so how to saute. Let me just pull up the video.
Hey, Brad, did you hear Nationwide?
Can you hear this too? Like the commercial and everything?
Echo Auto? My fans are gonna love
I and
I had
yeah,
made.
can't hear it.
You like them?
Sorta.
You love them.
Join Nationwide now.
It's on
and get a
commercial,
free
ladies and
Amazon
gentlemen. I'm sorry
Echo
for the
Auto.
commercial. It's going. Is it coming through in your head now? Okay, that's okay. So we're
when
just
sauteing anything, you want to make sure you heat an appropriate size saute pan
We're gonna
over
heat it in
a
an
high
appropriate
flame and charge it
saute
real
pan.
well.
And I
with
just want to
heat.
kind of fast
Now,
forward to where he
overfilling
gets to.
Now to check the heat, you can always do the water
There you
test
go.
by dropping in a little bit of water.
You see how it was kind of boiling, and you see the steam coming off.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not ideal in our kitchen. Nobody will do that.
I was gonna say that's super hot. I was like, that is super hot.
No one's gonna do that in the kitchen. What we notice is, so we use canola oil in our pans. When you give it 40 seconds, you will then see a little bit of smoke come from the sides of or from the pan itself. That means it's its optimal temperature. That's when you drop your fish,
right?
Whatever, your meat, your protein, and everything. That in turn also will give the proper sear. And that's what I mean by having your pan hot enough. So in your home kitchens and stuff, it might take a little longer, maybe a couple minutes for you to see the same sizzle. But in our kitchen, since our butane levels are higher on our saute gauges, it will come up a lot quicker and a lot faster. So that's what I mean, having that perfect sear. And then when you season the meat, season a little more than usual, especially on the side that you are putting down, because some of that will transfer into the pan. And then when you flip it, you season just a tad more on top of it to compensate for the loss of the seasoning that happened during the cooking process. So that's my tip to get a proper sear. 2 things: a really hot pan, notice that it is smoking, and then go on ahead and put your protein or whatever, your vegetables, etc. That in turn will turn the pan into a non-stick, non-porous pan, having it that hot. You'll know the only way to kind of go about it is for you to kind of test it out. And you'll know when it's not hot enough, because when you put the stuff down and it starts to stick, you're like, oh, damn, it's sticking. That means it's not hot enough. So just wait. Notice when you put it down, excuse me, how long it took. And that's what we do in the kitchen as chefs. We take note of what we do constantly, step by step, piece by piece, what we did, the gauge, how did we put it in, etc. So that's my tip for you for the Zen Garden. Sean, you have a quick tip for them?
Yeah. So yeah, I'm gonna. So when you're adding the oil to the hot pan, there's a few different ways that you can kind of check to see if it's. So you'll notice when the oil is cold, it'll move around the pan a lot slower. As it starts to heat up, like this is the chemical reaction is going to start to break down and separate the molecules of the oil, and it's going to start to move around kind of like water. That's also a good time to kind of take a look and see when you're going to apply your protein or your veggies to your saute pan. So to use an example of sauteing, let's say scallops, right? Like Casey said, you've got your saute pan, you'll add your oil, you'll start to wait till the oil starts to kind of get watery, and it's super hot, and it's going to start to steam and kind of smoke. Then you're going to take your seasoned scallops and then place them in. It's gonna cook very, very fast because now the pan is super, super hot. And what you'll notice is that the scallops will start to not burn, but they'll sear, and they're going to start to caramelize and start to turn brown.
Mm.
Like I said, when you're searing, you don't want to like move things around in the pan. You gotta trust, kind of gotta trust the process and let them cook. It's all gonna cook very quickly. And for something, let's say like a scallop, like a shrimp, you'll take your tongs and turn them over once. Don't like a lot of times on TV, you'll kind of see people flipping stuff around in the pan, and it's kind of being like super dramatic. But to accurately, use the techniques the right way, you just need to get it on one side. Cook through, on the other side, cook through, and what you'll start to notice is like the caramelization of the protein is going to start to leave. It's going to kind of look like a char in the pan. And the next step you're going to want to do is deglaze the pan, because there are flavors still being released into the char that's in the bottom of the pan, and you want to get them back. Yeah. You want to get them back. You paid for them, get them back. So you're gonna take some sort of liquid. More often, use like sherry. You might want to use a juice. It depends on what you're cooking. But let's say again, we're gonna use scallops in this circumstance, right? Happens to be one of our features. And you take some white wine and you're gonna add some to the pan. Now the pan is hot. The oil is hot. Oil and liquid typically don't mix. So what's going to happen here? Plus you got high coming off your saute range, it's going to flare up. It's going to flare up very quickly. So be prepared for that. Don't be scared. It's going to flare up, and immediately it's going to start to cook that wine out, and it's going to bring up all of the caramelization from the bottom of the pan. It's going to mix with the juices that are still in like your protein, the scallops in this case. And then what you want to do is you want to trap it. So you're going to trap it in another fat. That fat is probably going to be, let's say, butter. The butter's cold. You're going to drop some cold butter in there. You're going to turn that sauté pan down. And now you're going to let the butter melt with the white wine and the scallops. You might want to season it again, maybe add a little bit of lemon juice. Finish with some parsley, and now you're going to have like a great sauteed scallop or shrimp or whatever have you in a nice pan sauce. Now, I'll tell you this. The first time you learn how to to sear, you'll probably burn your food. It's okay. Like, when you're cooking, you learn by burning, and then you adjust. But once you get pan sauce, and those techniques you can take anywhere. Yeah. There's a lot of times when like I'm making like say some chicken, I might start it, get a quick sear in a pan just to kind of get some of those like flavors going, and then reserve the caramelization and make a pan sauce to the side, and then finish the seared chicken, and or conversely do it the other way. Start it in the oven, cook it damn near through, and then take it to a pan, sear it, get my pan sauces, and those flavors that again you paid for. You might as well get all of it, that you can turn into awesome flavorings for other things.
Correct. So yeah. I just want to share with you. I'm gonna pull it up on the main screen. Let me bring it up as we're in closing. That old telltale. It takes 10,000 hours to become a professional, to become a master, etc. In our field, since Sean and I typically work 10 to 12 hours in a day, so if we took that same thing divided by 12, we would get 833. But then we take that and divide it by about 7, 119. So 119 hours, if you can do that per week, every week, and then we'll multiply that by 52, gets you roughly close. If you can do that in a year, you're already done 6,000 hours. Okay? Sean and I bleed into the restaurant on a daily, and that's what we do. Sometimes, more often than not, it's usually 12, 13 hours. And so whenever somebody says, my favorite thing, I just want to share this. If I were to go to an interview They're like, how much experience do you have? I'm like, well, it just depends, right? I've been at it for just about 12 years. I'm going to say 20 years experience. And they're like, how? Over time. Okay? That's what it is. We've put a lot of sweat and tears into the processes that we do. Don't expect to become a professional in one go. You're going to notice a whole lot of things, and it's going to take time. Take your time, really take note of the processes, the smells, the events, just the atmosphere as you're cooking. That's the best tip I can give you as two professionals in the kitchen that always do it on a daily basis, is to take note on what you do, how you cut, how to do things, and how you cook it, and really pay attention to the finer details, and that will just make you entirely better. So in closing, if you haven't already, Chef Meals airs every Tuesday. I'm showing myself, God, I have this phlegm on my damn. You know what Caitlin told me last night? She goes,
"It's all right."
She goes, you still have that cough. I'm like, babe, it's not even a cough. It's just loogie. Like right here. She goes,
just
well, I can intubate you, and just I have a vacuum over there because she works at a hospital. She's like, I could put a crank here. I can intubate you there, put a hose down, just suck all that shit out, close you right up, and then nobody would even know. I'm like, babe, you sound like a serial killer. She goes, 'cause I am. Yeah, shout out to the babe. She's been out here since like 5:00. She's at the hospital. They have a case. But anyway, like I said, Chef Meals airs every Tuesday with Sean and myself, and Thursdays where I interview other podcasters, or in our events, it will turn into just our other episode where we talk about food. Now we gave you a little bit of tips here and there today because we don't have that long. However, I'm gonna pull it up on the big screen right now. Patreon.com /pork and wine will give you all the extra tidbits, all the episodes, especially this one will be airing there first. And then you can check out the video format there. And then about a few days later, it'll be on YouTube, so you can check that out also. And then if you haven't already, you can check us out everywhere that you stream your podcast, on Apple, on Spotify. Chef Salty Pork. You can see Sean and myself, our pictures there in our chef coats. And yeah, that's where you can find all the extra tidbits that you cannot get anywhere else.
But you've been listening. Subscribe to the pod and support us. Hit us up with any comments, any suggestions. We talk about food. We talk about what's going on in your life and situation, and maybe something we can bring to the show.
Heard. It's all about sharing and caring. That's what we like to say. Now, if you haven't already, here are the links onto the screen. If you're on the video format, Chef Salty Pork Podcast on YouTube, Pork and Wine on YouTube. You can head up Sean on. I gotta go backwards. I gotta go this way. Downwards. MetroCard X on Twitter. He does reply back. It just depends if we are in the restaurant or if we're busy. Okay. Any questions? Tweet him away. He'll answer it right out. He has all the good tips. Also, I don't have Twitter, so I would give you my Twitter handle. I've had it since its inception, but I just don't use it. Mm-hmm. And it's like,
Casey, you gotta.
Can you guess how Asian my Twitter handle is? Do you know what it is? Do you know the original one?
I don't.
Okay, what General Kung Pao 6. Yes, Sean, we're going there. Okay, we are going there. And this is when Twitter first started. I was like, oh my god, you gotta get Twitter. I'm like, okay, fine. That's what I had ever since then. Now I don't use it anymore, but I still have the handle live. But I've then switched it to the current one, where Pork and Wine also. But I don't tweet anything there. Don't follow me there. Right. I don't reply at all to that whatsoever. I do appreciate everyone else's on there. However, AskChefSalty@gmail.com. Any thoughts or comments, like Sean had mentioned, put it over there. We do reply to our emails back. Okay. We would like to get you some feedback. And if you have any other questions and all that, or how to cook stuff, please either hit up Sean on Twitter or into the email. We would then explain it to you live on air how we would do that, because I think that would be a pretty good segment. We'll do like a quick 5-minute on how to. It'll be like how to cook, just like that too, Sean. I'll just air. I'll just air guitar. It doesn't even matter. Just so
Casey, Sean.
Just so you guys know, Sean is having a little the internet just a tad shoddy. So just in case he is going in and out of the feed, that's because of why. And since Audacity isn't working on his end, I forget his real name. I think it's like Neil or something. Neil, if that's your real name, update Audacity, please. I love your I love your software here. Okay,
Neil, get on it, please.
This has been out since forever, Audacity, since forever, and they always update it. It's such a good tool to use while you're recording, and this is our main recording also. But other than that, guys, we'll catch you in the next one.
All right, peace out, internet.